The judge just responded. Yes, Judge Lyman.
She was, experienced the whole thing with
of Blake, of asking Taylor to.
Taylor Swift has shocked the whole world by humiliating her best friend in court.
Blake Lively tried to extort, blackmail, witness tamper, all of those things with Taylor Swift.
Lively is tasting her own medicine as the whole world is showing its mean side to her.
Because this is absurd. So
the mean girl is sweating bullets and blackmailing her best friend, as if it is going to earn her any compassion.
By Blake Lively, elaborating the basis for the subpoena to Taylor Swift. On February 14th, 2025, I received a voicemail from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day.
A lot is happening in this glittering saga of legal fireworks and celebrity drama. This drama has turned February 14th, 2025 into something really dark instead of a simple, sweet Valentine's Day. This was the day the fireworks really started flying. This whole saga started with Brian Freeman, our ever-diligent witness, and the loyal lawyer of Justin Baldoni, who apparently received a voicemail and a marathon hour-long phone call from someone close to Taylor Swift. It seemed like blackmail, and details of such a high-stakes scandal aren't whispered over coffee nowadays. They come in the form of dramatic phone calls and mysterious voicemails worthy of a daytime soap.
Been predicted, and I've been told by very good sources, this is going to explode so disgustingly.
This insider dropped the bombshell on Brian Freeman and social media. According to this source, a tense phone conversation happened between Taylor's lawyer, the ever-stoic and evidently no-nonsense J. Douglas Baldridge, and Blake Lively's legal champion, the elusive Michael G. What was in that mysterious or tense phone call? Well, just a little thing called an extortion threat.
That they had been informed that Miss Baltridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call.
Michael G. supposedly delivered the veiled, or maybe not so veiled, message that Taylor better toe the line or else face the consequences. What will be the consequences? Well, all her private chats and messages will be leaked for the public eye to analyze and gossip about. It means all the private secrets of Taylor Swift that she confidently told her best friend over the years will be released for the world to talk about. Because nothing says professional legal tactics quite like holding a decade's worth of private messages hostage as bargaining chips. But hold the phone, literally, because J. Douglas Baldridge wasn't about to take this sitting down. With the drama dialed up to 11, he called out Michael G. for extortion, and then, in true mic drop fashion, promptly ended the call. Because why waste breath when you've just accused someone of a serious felony on a phone line?
during the February 14th phone call, which lasted approximately.
With this, the inside source also told Brian Freeman that Blake Lively had also previously asked Taylor to delete all their old text messages. This allegedly happened in October, which was notably the last time Blake and Taylor were publicly seen together. No doubt she must have said this in a light tone, as both of them were still best friends and had each other's backs. This was way before Lively put the knife in the back of Taylor Swift.
The individual told me that Mr. Baltridge had sent a written communication to Mr. Gottlieb relating to their phone conversation. My office issued a subpoena to Taylor Swift for the purpose of seeking the aforementioned.
This juicy bit of legal theater is precisely what prompted Baldoni's lawyer to demand a subpoena on May 14, 2025. He did it to pry open Taylor's communications and sift through the digital rubble for proof of this alleged extortion attempt. It's like a legal detective story, where voicemails and heated phone calls become the smoking guns.
This wasn't just a fly-by-night thing. But it's crazy because the only people that could actually have told him this, and it would have detailed communication from a lawyer.
So, there you have it. A Valentine's Day phone call, a bold accusation from J. Douglas Baldridge, a threatened extortion plot from Michael G., and an hour of tense back and forth that could give any courtroom drama a run for its money.
Or either where they're having lunch, but I think it's their actual building where they live. So that was Selma getting there. They had the press all set up. Guys, this is a PR stunt. I don't know why Selma's...
But what is the background of these accusations? What prompted Lively to make Swift her enemy when she is in a critical situation and needs Hollywood support? Grab your popcorn, because Blake apparently decided to channel her inner drama queen and throw down what can only be described as a masterclass in subtlety.
On Miss Lively's behalf, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively, given her absence from the Super Bowl that year, and stated that if Miss Smith...
It all started with the Super Bowl controversy. So, Blake Lively, in all her enigmatic glory, chose not to attend the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift that year. She said that she didn't want to attend any event where Hollywood celebrities are present, as the discussion about her and Baldoni's lawsuit started whenever anyone saw her. This discussion made her uncomfortable, took a toll on her mental health, and she didn't want this for herself. So, it was the reason she wasn't attending the football event. But Taylor, being the pop culture powerhouse she is, showed up like the superstar she always is. The cameras were flashing, and the crowds were cheering for her.
And then this has been hanging over them since the Super Bowl.
But here's where the plot thickens, and honestly, it's better than most soap operas. The official story, whispered through Taylor's team and sneaky media leaks, was that Blake hadn't even been invited to the Super Bowl. Imagine the audacity! Blake Lively, one of Hollywood's finest, was snubbed from a football game just because she wasn't on the guest list. All the lies of Lively were exposed, leaving her a bit humiliated in front of the world.
Way back, there are lots of photos of Blake and Selma together from years past, but now it seems like if you watch the body language, she's pulling away. Blake is trying to put her hand on her, I think more than once. She's trying to put her hand on her back and get closer. Selma clearly pulls away and gets closer to Robin.
Wasn't enough. The rumors started swirling that Taylor was slowly distancing herself from Blake. Yes, you heard it right. They are distancing as if this were some high school drama, and not two A-list celebrities navigating their very complicated friendship.
On Selma, so that they can get the photo op. So that when the pictures, which I just showed you, it looks like, oh, they're buddy, but she's purposely trying to do it. And Selma is like not having it. I think Blake wanted to pull her closer or get closer, but
you all may know the reason for it. Apparently, Taylor was starting to feel a little used. The kind of used where your name and public image are dragged into Blake's ongoing legal battles like some sort of unwilling mascot. Taylor's reputation as a shiny billboard being waved around in court documents and media stories to support Blake's harassment case against Baldoni without Taylor's permission. It is the ultimate exploitation fantasy, where Taylor is less a person and more a prop in Blake's legal theater.
Getting there, they had the press all set up. Guys, this is a PR stunt. I don't know why Selma's doing it. Again, her husband owns Balenciaga. We know about all the child trafficking and all of the disgusting things surrounding Balenciaga. There have been rumors of a lot of things over the years. I may start getting into those details, into those cases.
And here's the cherry on top. Taylor was reportedly referred to as a dragon in the legal filings. Now, what does that even mean in celebrity court speak? It was just a dramatic way to cast Taylor as a formidable force being wielded like a weapon in Blake's favor. Indeed, it is an absolutely ridiculous metaphor that turns Taylor into a mythical creature, completely without her consent.
I am nobody's dragon, girl. I am not your dragon. I've stayed quiet. I've stayed away.
After doing all of this with the Queen of Hollywood, the mean girl demanded a public statement from Taylor Swift about her Super Bowl absence. She was getting molested everywhere because of her lies, absence of her name in the guest list of the Super Bowl, and her sexual harassment case related to Justin Baldoni. So, she wanted a strong word in her favor, going out in public for the world to see her innocence. In short, she cannot survive without hearing Taylor's official endorsement of Blake's life choices. Heaven forbid Blake face any public scrutiny without her BFF Taylor Swift stepping up to save the day. But wait, it gets better. When Taylor didn't immediately leap to Blake's rescue, Blake's legal team, clearly inspired by every villain in every bad movie ever, threatened to unleash a decade's worth of private texts. It is as if Taylor's life were some secret treasure trove of explosive gossip, just waiting to be weaponized. Because who wouldn't want to dig through 10 years of back and forth to find some juicy scandal?
Blake Lively threatened to leak Taylor Swift texts if singer didn't publicly support her, and this is a claim coming from Justin Baldoni's lawyers.
So, basically, Blake thought it was a brilliant idea to say, "Hey Taylor, say something nice about me or I'll drag you through the mud with our old DMs." Honestly, it's like Blake just handed the public a popcorn-worthy reality show plot on a silver platter. Because nothing screams innocent and dignified like threatening your famous friend with the nuclear option of private texts to get your way.
The speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift, and a partner at Venable, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb, counsel for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, during which Mr. Gottlieb requested, on Miss Lively's behalf, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively.
She sent the message to Taylor Swift through her lawyer. Taylor's very own lawyer, the illustrious J. Douglas Baldridge. Yes, the man with the elegant, serious name fit for a courtroom thriller. Didn't just sit back and politely ask questions. No, J. Douglas Baldridge, in a moment worthy of an Oscar for dramatic legal confrontation, actually accused Blake's lawyer of extortion during a phone call when he made the threat of releasing the digital life of Taylor Swift. And when things got too spicy, our hero Jay cut the call short, because nothing says, "I mean business," like dropping the mic and hanging up on your opponent when the conversation turns uncomfortable.
In this statement to the judge, he says, "I received a voicemail on February 14, 2025 from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day." So he's known this since February, which is another interesting.
In this situation, enter Brian Friedman, attorney extraordinaire, who decides that a simple, "Nah, that's not true," from Blake's team just won't cut it.
And here is my crazy take on this. I think that Taylor Swift kind of wanted to be subpoenaed so this information could come out. Because if she has been pressured and blackmailed.
When he got the news of the conversation between Blake and Taylor's lawyers through a mutual friend, he ran to the judge with this piece of news, because obviously it was going to benefit him and his client, Justin Baldoni, greatly. Here, Brian did a really mind-blowing thing that Lively started crying. He rolls in with an affidavit. It is because when you're dealing with high-stakes celebrity drama, you need to make it official under penalty of perjury. So, here, Brian is basically saying, "I solemnly swear on all things legal that what I'm saying is 100% true."
I, Brian Friedman, representing all the Wayfarer parties.
And what's his smoking gun? A credible source, aka someone very close to Taylor Swift. The classic, "Trust me, I know a guy who knows a gal" approach to serious legal claims. Because in Hollywood legal circles, that's basically the equivalent of an eyewitness who saw it all while sipping coffee in the next room. The name of this guy is not released to the public at this moment. But Brian is so confident in this source that he is willing to name it in the court if the lawyers demand. It shows how much Brain trusts the source and how much Lively is in trouble at this instant.
But this is a source, a person who is supposed to know what's going on. This isn't a source just in a magazine. This is a source added to a legal filing. There are serious consequences if Brian Friedman just made this up, if he just pulled this out his behind. He would not do this unless he had it, unless he had concrete proof, unless he has been told directly from the source.
But this affidavit is no mere piece of paper. It's the magic wand that justifies subpoenaing all of Taylor's communications. Suddenly, Taylor's texts, emails, and probably even her grocery lists are fair game for the courts. All because Brian needed to make sure his claims had some official oomph behind them.
Is this subpoena from Taylor Swift important to Justin Baldoni?
So, hats off to Brian Friedman, making sure that when it comes to Blake, it's not just rumors flying around, but sworn declarations that could drag the whole digital life of Taylor Swift and Blake Lively into the spotlight. Legal drama, meet your new star player. So now, thanks to J. Douglas Baldridge's swift legal instincts and Brian Friedman's affidavit prowess, Taylor's and Lively's private communications are under the microscope. Because if you're going to accuse someone of extortion, you better be ready to back it up with every single message sent over the past who knows how many years.
Blake of asking Taylor to delete text messages. This was the original letter that was sent by Brian Friedman. Well, Blake Lively's team was very quick to respond. I've never seen them.
In this situation comes Blake Lively's camp, galloping in on a high horse, clutching their pearls, and insisting that the other side is making wild accusations without a shred of evidence. Because how dare anyone suggest that Blake, Hollywood's reigning queen of relatable Instagram posts and red carpet poses, could possibly be entangled in something as tawdry as an extortion scandal.
Possible coming out of that camp. She threatened to publicly release.
According to Team Lively, the entire subpoena debacle is just a circus conjured by Baldoni's attorneys. A cunning little trick to manipulate the court of public opinion, because apparently that's the real courtroom that matters in Blake's world. Forget the sworn affidavit, forget the hour-long phone call, forget Taylor's lawyer allegedly accusing Blake's lawyer of extortion mid-call before hanging up in dramatic fashion. None of that counts, you see, because it's not proof. It's just an inconvenient narrative.
He put it in a legal filing after Blake and Ryan, their team, they didn't want this subpoena for Venable, for Taylor Swift.
Blake's side is acting like they've been dragged into a witch trial without a broomstick. No evidence, they cry, as if threatening to leak 10 years of private texts unless a public statement is made isn't just a little suspicious. If these allegations are proven true, it wouldn't just be a PR hiccup for Blake Lively. No, this would be full-blown, career-denting, public image-destroying chaos. Imagine Blake, forever remembered not for her iconic Met Gala gowns or her expertly filtered baking posts, but for allegedly trying to twist Taylor Swift's arm using a digital time capsule of private conversations. So, she panicked and sent the famous May 13th letter.
Of course, the same could be said of the Lively's May 13th letter, which Lively claims to have submitted as a courtesy, in which she did not ask the court to take any action. The Lively defense claim the subpoena served on Taylor Swift seeks the Lively defendant's attorneys.
It was not a legal motion, not a formal filing, just a sweet little courtesy note to the court. Because, Blake Lively's idea of conflict resolution apparently includes passive-aggressive stationery and carefully worded legal poetry.
And given that Miss Lively herself admits in the letter that she did not ask the court to take any action, nor could she, given that the motion to quash the subpoena is pending there before a separate court, yada, yada, yada.
She didn't ask the court to do anything. That would have been far too confrontational. Instead, she just gently implied that the other side is wildly abusing the legal system, trampling on attorney-client privilege, and acting like courtroom vigilantes. But all in a friendly, informational tone, of course. So, while Miss Lively didn't formally accuse Baldoni's legal team of misconduct, the subtext was louder than a red carpet gown. She painted their subpoena as improper, accused them of aiming at privileged communications, aka a legal no-no, and oh so politely suggested the whole thing was shady at best. And let's not forget her legal team, who would go down in the annals of celebrity law as the squad who thought extortion was a viable negotiation tactic. Hey, support our client publicly, or else. But this drama isn't ending here. In fact, a new delicious layer has been added to the soap opera.
That Brian Friedman is working in coordination with...
While Taylor Swift is out there maintaining her usual serene and mysteriously silent public persona, because why get messy on social media when you can play it cool? Rumor has it that behind the velvet curtain, someone from her legal squad is cozying up with Brian Friedman. Yes, you heard that right. Cooperating with the opposition like a secret agent in a spy thriller. Taylor might actually be quietly throwing her support behind Justin Baldoni's defense team. Shocking, right? Here she is, publicly distant, but behind the scenes, subtly playing both sides, or maybe just backing the Wayfarer crew because she truly believes in their innocence. Imagine Taylor, nodding sagely from the shadows, whispering, "I got your back," while the public thinks she's miles away from this legal circus.
Like, some of this is 2 hours old. Taylor Swift has already collaborated with her two favorite artists.
And how does this secret cooperation manifest? Apparently, by discreetly sharing internal legal communications, because nothing says trust and insider knowledge like tipping off the other side with sensitive info. It's like a legal game of chess, and Taylor's team might just be the stealthy rook moving in unexpected ways. So while fans and media obsess over the public silence, the real action is happening in the shadows, with Taylor's team pulling strings and maybe even playing matchmaker between Brian Freeman and the Wayfarer defense. If this were a movie, the plot twist would have audiences gasping. But in real life, just another day in the glamorous cloak and dagger world of celebrity legal drama. Now, what is happening in the social media world?
Look at this language here. It says they've been iced out from most A-list circles. If Blake was a true victim, why aren't they standing up for her? The media tried to paint us who were defending Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Wayfair.
Well, after Brian Friedman sent a May 14th letter in response to Blake's letter, stories exploded across news sites with uncanny speed. It's almost like the press was standing there with their finger on the publish button, waiting for the tea to be poured. Naturally, Blake Lively's legal team was shocked at how quickly the headlines materialized. They developed the theory that Baldoni's team, those scandal-hungry courtroom scoundrels, leaked the whole thing on purpose. Not for justice, mind you, but to play a little game of reputation Jenga. Yank out one block at a time until the whole carefully curated celebrity brand collapses. But here's where the sarcasm writes itself. Blake's lawyers accuse them of laundering the scandalous claims into public view. Laundering. As if Baldoni's legal team is running a spin cycle at TMZ, taking raw allegations and fluffing them up just enough to make them press-ready. Because apparently, sharing court documents with the press is now the equivalent of dropping a tabloid mixtape. Never mind that public filings are public. The moment something's filed, any semi-literate intern at a gossip blog can grab it. But no, to Blake's camp, this is a calculated media assault, a PR hit job disguised as a legal process.
When their statements start coming out, when more and more come out to expose the thing that we've all been saying, which all the streamers, all the outlets are afraid of, Ryan and Blake, because they still wield the power.
So now we have lawyers arguing not only over subpoenas and extortion claims, but also about who pressed send to page 6 first. Because in this Hollywood legal circus, reputation management isn't just part of the game, it is the game. And Blake's lawyers are trying to convince us that their side just stumbled into a scandal while the other side is out here running a full-blown media campaign. But, and here's the twist worthy of a prestige miniseries, if this whole thing turns out to be false, if the accusations are fabricated, exaggerated, or just an unfortunate game of broken telephone gone legal, then Taylor's camp and the attorneys tossing around subpoenas and sworn affidavits like confetti might be staring down some serious backlash of their own. We're talking defamation suits, abuse of process, and the kind of legal regret that keeps expensive lawyers up at night.
So he's not saying there's no merit to it. His hands are tied. He can't rule on it. So it has to go to a DC court. It has to be litigated outside of this. Because again, this is involving Taylor Swift's attorneys and is not directly Blake's attorneys, if you get what I mean. So
the judge did grant her motion to strike the letter, but not because she was exonerated, vindicated, or showered in courtroom confetti for her innocence. No. No. The judge simply said, "Wrong courtroom, darling." That's right. Freeman's affidavit and his bombshell-filled letter were apparently dropped off at the legal equivalent of the wrong address. The judge, peeking over his glasses, essentially went, "This is a DC issue. I'm from New York. Kindly take your drama elsewhere." And like that, poof! The court washed its hands of the whole mess without even touching the actual allegations. So, let's be clear. The accusations, blackmail, text message threatening, subpoena sparking accusations, weren't dismissed because they were false. They were ignored because the court wasn't authorized to deal with them. It's like calling 911 to report a fire and being told, "Sorry, this is the pizza place. Try another number."
And they got it out here. So we will see what will happen subsequently. We'll see. We got to really follow this trail. This is going to...
But never fear, because if you listen closely, you can already hear the echo of heels marching toward Washington, D.C., where the real legal battle is gearing up. So while Blake and her team may be popping corks and practicing smug smiles for the cameras, the rest of us know this isn't the end. It's just an intermission. Either way, someone's reputation is getting dragged across the coals. It's just a matter of whose. So grab the popcorn, because whether this ends in court or just another viral headline, it's already shaping up to be one of Hollywood's most dramatic legal messes, with enough plot twists to make even Shonda Rhimes say, "Okay, that's a bit much." Stay tuned to know more about this drama.